record it. Welcome to the class. So we have a live stream to Facebook, and this video will be posted on YouTube channel. So whoever has any comments, any questions, please let us know. You can ask your questions right now in our Facebook group. We highly recommend to join our Facebook group Neurographica, or you can find Neurographica or Neurographica Coach. It's a public group, but you need to ask to join. So we post a lot of things there, and it's really fun. And I want to announce one more thing that we want to do. So yesterday I posted some of my cards that I did for teenagers that I'm teaching in the correction center. And each card was about communication. And at the evening, after I posted everything, idea struck me that actually I did 21 cards, and how it's really changed my life, how much communication I have right now, how much I really processed during those cards when I was drawing them, and how much easier and without any hesitation I can start talking about any subject with anybody. I have students around the globe, so it's really struck me how much it's changed my life. Really, I have shiverings when I mention it. So I want to invite you on start on Monday, so I have some time for you to prepare. Challenge or marathon for 21 days that you pick one topic, any topic you want, relationship, finances, work, health, whatever you want, and you will create very small projects every day, or like there should be 21 at the end. I didn't do it every day. So, but if you want to do this simple release inner constraints algorithm, all the steps, but on small sizes, it could be on sticky notes like this, or I have postcards like this. I don't really encourage you to do very big ones. If you want, you can, but it will be challenging, really challenging to do 21 drawings like this. So I want, and size really doesn't matter in Neurographica. You can do it on a bookmark, you can do it on you can fold a piece of paper in quarters, and it will be enough. It's just you need to pull a little bit every time, a little bit outdated patterns that are hidden in you. So 21 drawings. We will share them in our Neurographica group. So please join us, and it will be fun. And you will see how much it's going to change. I know my topic. I'm going to work on finances. My relationship with money, because I don't complain that I don't have money. I have enough to live, but I want to have my own money, like my earnings, my satisfaction. So welcome to the marathon. So it will be interesting. So all the information about group will be in the info box. Another quick announcement, because it's important. On July 3rd, we start another course, certificate basic user course for those who want to learn a little bit more about Neurographica. Who wants to understand what the science behind it, what we're really doing during each step of the algorithm, to understand and use it for yourself. So please welcome. And they start on July 3rd. And whenever you decide to join us, there will be video recordings for all the classes that happened already before this course. We'll just finished one of them, and you will have access to all these materials as well. So this is big announcement that I wanted to do. So now big theme that we want to work today. And it's a big topic. So we are going to work on Hooponopono. So Hooponopono is an ancient Hawaiian method or system that was used by Hawaiian shamans to heal the community, to heal people, to heal situation. Hooponopono really translated as fixing mistakes, fixing programs, some errors. And before we can start using this method, the foundation of this very profound spiritual teaching, I believe, is based in the understanding that whatever happened with me in my life, I take responsibility for it. I am responsible for everything that happened to me. I maybe don't understand the reason, maybe I'm not agree with the reason, maybe I don't really, I can be angry with the reason, but reason is always in me. And it's not just to find who to blame, it's really gives you an opportunity to step out of the victim role and become a creator. If I am responsible, I'm free to change the situation. If you're a victim, you just will sit and wait till something else will happen in your life and don't have any really steps to heal yourself. So whenever we work with somebody or with something, it could be a concept, it could be situation, it could be bigger figures or bigger energies that you want to have a relationship. We have a relationship with everything, with our body, with nature, with earth. So we want to make sure that we take responsibility, what is coming, how this relationship is developing. So if it's big for you, it was big for me. So I hope we will see it, because Neurographica really makes it visual, really makes it easy to understand and easy to process. I want to say a little bit about the method. Right now, it's more in, it become very famous, Hooponopono, because Joe Vitale, the creator of, what's the Attractor Factor, the book, and he wrote another book about Hooponopono and how it's really working. So if you want to know more about the system Hooponopono, you can learn it from the book, and the information about it will be in the info box. Okay, so I'll switch my camera and we'll start drawing. So last week we were drawing about, I was drawing about my relationship and healing my relationship with my father. Even my relationship with my father are good enough, so there is no complaints about it. We dearly care about each other, but it's always an opportunity to say those beautiful phrases to them. So this was actually not about my father, this was about my grandma. This was about my father, and this was about another about my father, because I forgot to make a recording of the first one. So this is something that we are going to work today. Before we start, I want to show you something. So let's see. This is representing my life. When something is happens to me, it's a situation with another person, or situation with my work, with situation with nature disaster, it means that this participant is overlapping with my life. You don't need to draw right now. I just want to show you this. And this means that this overlap is a program that belongs to each of you. And only when we interact together, when we create this overlap, it's activated. But it's really impossible to say right now who this program belongs to. It belongs to both of us. And we can't start waiting till another person take responsibility and do something and change something about it. It's most likely will never happen. Or you may say, okay, it's my program and I take responsibility and I take a chance, an opportunity to heal it, to change it, to transform it in something beautiful and powerful, to use this information and this energy to move forward. So if you take this responsibility, you're really working with yourself. Like if I cover this part, this another participant, you're working with yourself. You will affect another participant, but it's not the goal. We are not really trying to heal him or her or whatever the situation is. We are trying to heal ourselves. Everything we do in Neurographica, we are working with ourselves. We take responsibility for ourselves. We're taking responsibility and to create our own reality. We're working with our own reality. So we will work with this program that belongs to me. And in Hooponopono, it's easy to do by saying 4 simple, beautiful phrases. And they sound very beautiful on every language that I heard. So we are going to say them in English, and we'll see, maybe I say them in Russian, so you will be learning something. So the phrases are, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Okay, so this is the procedure. I'll take it away, and I invite you to pick a topic about some situation or a relationship that you want to heal, or you want to, like you feel that you want to transform them in something even more powerful and more beautiful. So for me, I worked so much on my father that I want my mother be cherished as well. So today I'm going to work on my relationship with my mom, which is always emotional. So I hope it will be appropriately emotional for this live stream. So stay with me. So pick the person or the situation. It could be health, and it could be your body that you want to heal. It could be something that some people, random people that crossed your life and somehow, or maybe not people, maybe it's a tree that you ended up an accident with, or something else that caused some distraction or disturbance inside of you that is still emotional for you. What do you want to heal today? Do we have a topic? Each of you will have different ones. I have already like so much energy in my feet when I just announced the topic that I'm going to work with my mom. So I'm like really highly encourage you to place your feet on the ground so you feel big, so you be grounded. It's really powerful tool. It's really powerful exercise. So don't underestimate how simple it may look, but it's we when we take responsibility, it's enormous energy we releasing. Like I'm saying, like basically, when I say like I take responsibility for everything that happened to me, I step in a creator role. I am magician who can transform those energies in something else. So let's step in this magician role and transform and create positive changes in our lives. So I hope you have your topic. And first of all, we draw ourselves as a circle. We always draw ourselves as a circle because let's see why it doesn't work. I'll be back just in a second. Because we want, the circle represents the best, perfect potential that we can represent. So we want to operate on this best potential. And we want to see this best potential in the participant of yours. Another participant, like in my case, it's going to be mom. Okay, and you try to find where is the circle is really belong. You can, one of the suggestions, you can start, okay, I'll fix the focus later, but you can start and trying to see on your page, like when you just moving a hand over your piece of paper and see where does it belong. And when you find the place, you just draw it. Ooh, that's interesting. It's a completely different experience from what I've done with my father. My father is really taking much less space on my drawing. It's huge.
And I have a question.
Yes?
I want to do it not connected like that. I want to do it separate on the other side of the page.
So if you, is it painful experience for you?
Yeah.
Is it something really you want to work?
Yes.
If this situation, if this experience happened to you, it means it's overlapped. And somehow you're really trying to suppress it. Maybe you already processed everything. Or
I don't
maybe,
feel like I have.
okay, so another option that you try to, it's so painful that you try to like distant from it, like it's not mine, take it away. So you're really in denial at some point. I would, like, you know, if it's a really emotional and painful experience, you can do a catharsis on a different piece of paper. Like if you want, just take another piece of paper,
Okay.
take a deep inhale related to this person or participant. And with exhale, you express your, this is optional. Not everyone has to do it. This is only when you cannot even start working with this. You cannot even allow it to step closer to you. And you can work on this later.
Okay.
Set it aside. How does it feel?
After doing the catharsis?
Yes.
I still feel a lot in my power center.
Okay.
Yeah.
So see if you can draw this participant closer to you.
Okay. I'll do it just for the sake of the exercise.
Okay.
Anna,
So,
excuse me, does the participant have to be a more or less perfect circle, or can it be another?
Not necessary.
Shape?
Not necessary. Like it's we are not robots. We are not perfect, and that's why we are beautiful and unique. So if it's a crooked, it's okay. You can be not perfect, and another participant can be not perfect. This is really an opportunity to accept imperfections in each other and still be connected. So the next step, look at your shapes and see how big you are and how big is another participant. And if you, and how big is the overlap, how you really impacting each other, how many programs together you have. It's an enormous program for me. And of course, mom is always like dominant in our relationships. So how do you feel about it? I've seen very huge overlaps, and it seems like the situations are really taking most of your consciousness. And how is it really hard to separate yourself from something else? So next step is very important. We have to draw and say those phrases. The first phrase, and we say them to this program, to ourselves. We are not, it's not necessary we say to the person or the situation. We're saying it to ourselves first. And the first phrase, I love you. Can we draw another circle? Any size, just trust what is coming.
And does it need to connect to both circles?
It needs to be connected to the program.
Okay.
So it will be connected to both circles. We're working with the program.
Okay.
So the first is I love you. The second is I'm sorry. I'm sorry about it. Some misunderstanding has happened. I'm sorry that I caused pain to you. You caused pain to me. That this program happened between us. And we say, please forgive me. And if you want, you can even repeat the circle as many times as you want. If you want to make it bigger. And the last but not least is I love you. Thank you. So we have I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And we start expressing those meanings, and you can repeat them out loud or silently as many times as you want. And we draw neural lines to express those vibrations. We really try to integrate those vibrations of those phrases, like they very high vibrations. I love you. It's a huge program, huge vibrations, very high vibrations that can heal many painful experiences. I'm sorry. It's I take responsibility, like really, I accept that there is a pain that I caused and there is a pain that you caused in this relationship. And please forgive me. It's basically is a confession that we asking for experience, for forgiveness. Asking forgiveness from ourselves first. Again, we are talking to this program that belongs to us and another participant. The program still be in myself, in my soul, on different levels of consciousness, because we all connected. We connected through this life, through the events. We connected sometimes through the past lives. We connected through the family systems. We connected through the cultural systems from different egregors that we belong. It could be national programs. It could be country programs, like different levels of connections. And you never clearly understand why it's happened. Why was this program generated? You don't really remember when and how, but it doesn't mean that it's not exist. So it's really, in this case, we don't ask when. We understand that it's there was probably a reason why it's happened, and we just take responsibility for it. We take responsibility for ourselves, for our family systems, for our race, for humankind. And we start rounding, so we start integrating, we start processing and harmonizing those vibrations. So see which really, if you started to work on a specific circle, see if you remember which one is the most important for you. And another thing that I want you to be aware when we're working, especially with your family systems, like with your father, mother, and you draw yourself and you draw your parent much less than you are. Let's say if I would draw myself like this and my mom like this, it means that the system is twisted, it's entangled, because you are in the role of a big and your parent is in the role of your child. So you taking care and protect this small circle. So you really need to accept the fact that you are just a child, and that another parent or another participant, your parent, is bigger than you are. And if you are wants to be as big, you can draw your parent much bigger. Usually I recommend to do catharsis, and in most cases the catharsis is very intense. And by catharsis, you can identify how big is the size of another parent. Because it's for many of us, it's very hard to accept the fact that parents are bigger than we are. Because sometimes they acting like children, like small children. But they still be our parents. And we need to give them this privilege to be parents, to be big. Even if they will make mistakes, it's still be emotionally, we give them this privilege. It's not easy. We are so defending our position to be independent, and it's but it's a lot of relief of stress when we accept that I'm just a child. I don't have to really be responsible for everything that happens to my parents or for anybody, even for your own children. You cannot be responsible for everything. Okay. So please pay attention how do you breathe? Like, do you still breathing? Because some topics or some steps in this process can be very emotional. So slow down, take a deep inhale, make sure that you have enough oxygen to process this emotion. If you feel crying, allow tears be released. Don't try to suppress your emotions. You don't really have to be understanding the reasons. You need just let it go. So let it go. Let it be felt. Let it be expressed.
Do I continue to say Hooponopono?
Yes, you can continue to pronounce those beautiful phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I highly recommend to avoid this big drama when you say these words. It's not about drama. It's not about really trying to express how much you love, how much you're sorry. It's not about this. It's about how you can allow this vibration go through your heart, go through your body, and how to allow them to integrate with your body, with your soul. Like you, it's not about saying them out loud. It's about feeling them. So try to merge with those vibrations, like dive in those vibrations, because each of them are a little bit different. They have a different qualities, different taste. So try to see, maybe you can even feel some smells, you can feel some sensations in your body. So I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And in Russian it would sound Я люблю тебя. Мне очень жаль. Прости меня, пожалуйста. Я тебя благодарю. Я люблю тебя. Мне очень жаль. Прости меня, пожалуйста. Я тебя благодарю. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. There is a song, Hooponopono song, where those phrases are pronounced in different languages. I highly recommend you to listen it. It's a really beautiful song. And it has this beautiful Hawaiian melody that is very healing itself. If you don't feel any emotions, it's okay. We still try to experience those vibrations, and sometimes we have this black hole in our soul around some situations that we need to invest more and more high vibrations to heal this, to make sure that it's filled with love, filled with higher vibrations. So sometimes it requires several days. We just as a prayer repeating those phrases to make sure that it's our attitude to it has changed. Our relationship to it has changed. And you will be amazed how much really people try changing, even without this intention. Like we've concentrated on working with myself. I'm taking responsibility for myself. I want to change I'm responsible only for my happiness. I'm responsible only for my psychic energy that I'm investing in this program, in this situation, and I take it back to me. So you can repeat those 4 phrases again and again, over and over. And it's better if you wake up with those phrases and fall asleep with them, because you're falling in those vibrations, in falling in those high energies that are very protecting, very caring and loving. So I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. See where how's your body is responding to this process. Do we have any sensations, experiences in your body? Do we have any challenges like breathing, or maybe some discomfort in your body causing? Because some of these programs can be very powerful and can be already manifested on the physical level, like sickness or maybe injury. So we try to heal, we try to not just soul, we try to heal our not just soul, but the body as well, because body is just a reflection, just a manifestation of what is happening inside of us or outside. It's like really the soul is bigger than body. So we experiencing it by accepting and rounding. Again, we round because we want to integrate those energies. We want to integrate those phrases in your life, in your body, in your existence, and we're creating new, constantly creating new new connections of your neural system in your mind, in your brain, to integrate this new concept, new vision of the situation, new vibrations, new attitude to the situation. For some very long-lasting, painful experiences, it maybe requires longer process, because there is such a big, intense experience, and it has a old patterns, has such a strong neuron connections. Like you still investing a lot of energy in this situation, and you need to create many new ones to break, to make it more powerful than the old one. Because if you really are using the same pipe over and over, it will be clean and strong. But if you use a different passes, it will be new system developed, new connections, and new beautiful events and situations will be developed from those new connections.
Can we do this for the 21 days?
You can do, it will be, you can do it on this smaller size, on smaller scale. But for 21-day challenge, as I invite you to participate, like first of all, we want to release some constraints that already built up. We want to change those very strong programs in our lives that may take a lot of time and a lot to process to change anything in your life, because it's some programs could be very simple and it's easy to fix, but some could be so powerful and they may involve not just you but your family system. It may involve your cultural background or some other reasons, and for them catharsis is just the best way to express it, like to bring something on top. If you want to do Hooponopono, you can do it. If you want to use different algorithms for different days, you can do Neurotree, you can do some sketching if you want. Those, all of them will be helpful and useful. I know that catharsis one is already powerful and intense for such challenges. I've done, like, I did not know, but I've done one. And it's really, because I know how it's changing and quite fast. Like I finished drawing them in May, and in June, I already was, we started teaching. We started very, like I started teaching earlier, but it was not on such scale as right now. So about this challenge, there will be a separate short video that if you want to join, I will. You're welcome. And we're really going right now, astrologically, it's very intense time. There's big connection is coming between Pluto and Jupiter, like two very powerful planets. So if you want to use those energies to change something in your life, this is a great opportunity. And if you want to release some bad habits like smoking or eating after 6 p.m. or I don't know, sleeping late, gaming, drinking, whatever you feel like you want to let go, it could be your topic. Try. Around the lunar eclipse, it's the best time to really do it. But come back to our Hooponopono. I'm trying to Okay. So how do you feel? How do you, any shifts in your body, any shifts in your perception to this relation? It's basically we're creating a new relationship, more harmonious, more peaceful, easier.
It doesn't feel so intense in my power center.
Mm-hmm.
It's still there, but it's shifted a whole lot. And I keep doing the deep breath, so I know there's a lot of release going on.
So I try to, when you breathe, try to inhale through the nose and visualize how you exhale love and light through the heart area. Like you still breathe out, like you still exhale through the nose or mouth, whatever you prefer, but visualize how the energy is coming through your heart. So you really moving the higher vibrations out of you. You take what is good happened in this relationship, because there is always a lesson. There is always something good out of it. Even it could be very painful. You still learn something about yourself or about other people or about the world. There will still be some, the healing process could be a beautiful journey. So you take with inhale what the goodness you have from this experience, and you send love and light and gratitude. And you can repeat this beautiful words as you breathe. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So in this exercise, we really want to return our psychic energy, all this emotions that we invested, that we still be attaching to this situation, to this relationship. We need to return it to ourselves. And if you have a good relationship, there it will be even stronger and better. So there still be always opportunity to make it even better. But if you have any history of challenges, we are working with those challenges. We are working to transform them in a powerful relationship. Some very painful experiences really change our life to the best. It takes sometimes 20, 30 years to realize it, or lifetime to realize it, but it's usually the case. And see if you rounded already all the corners, see if you want to add any resources to yourself or to another participant. Like, do you want to invite anything else besides those 4 phrases? Maybe you want to wish them something else. Maybe you want to wish them health. Maybe you want to wish them be connected, be happier. Like, really, what do you want? And if you have such desires or wishes, you can draw a circle around them to make them stronger. So for my mom, what I've done for my father's drawings, I want to do the same. I want to give her support of her mom, of her ancestral line, not just mom, but her strong ancestral line. And I really want it big and powerful, so she can rely on them. It's almost like a family constellation we're doing here, but it's kind of a combination of everything I know.
If you draw resource circles, do they need to overlap onto the part that you want to draw them?
It's not necessarily overlap. It's but make sure that they connected.
Okay.
Through lines. For me, it's important to give support so she can relax and rely on this energy, on this resource, that she really can be connected, that she really can use this energy and use this support. Even if this, especially if the support is already, let's say, if we're working with energies that are not visible, not easy accessible to us right now. Like if, when we're talking about the ancestry line, my mom is on her side is the oldest now. So this is, everybody else passed away. So I want her to feel connected to this energy, even if she doesn't really can talk to, like she we always can talk to people who are not with us anymore, but it's not obvious to everybody. So see how you feel, how the energy has changed when you give any resources. Especially it's important if you're working with a very painful subject, like you are, consider yourself as a victim, and you have on your drawing a perpetrator. To help yourself, the best you can do to bring resources for the perpetrator, to give them support, to give them love, to give them connections. You will be amazed how much it can be changed. Like how much if we take care, not take care, but when the perpetrator has what they need, you will not need to substitute it. So, and it's really freeing and very powerful experiences you can have to heal. And usually what I see from the constellation work, that the victims has the more power and more energy than perpetrators. And it's in their decision to really let them go and heal the situation, or still be connected and still hold the attitude. So it's a big topic, and we probably will need to work on this separate. But Hooponopono is a very gentle, I believe, very gentle and very natural method to do it. There is nothing artificial. We are not really forcing any unusual phrases. Those phrases are imprinted in us. They're like all of them we heard from our childhood. And if you, one more thing to mention, if you were, if English is foreign language for you or second language, try to say them in your original language. What was your childhood language? This is could be completely different experience for you. Even if you almost forgot it and you almost don't speak on your native language, it still be could be much more healing to pronounce those 4 phrases on your native language. So,
I have a question again. I wasn't paying full attention when you were talking about perpetrators. If somebody is a perpetrator and you're working on this, you give them resources so that they're not trying to get what they feel like they don't have when they're being the perpetrator. Am I saying that? That makes sense. Okay. That's
like that when they have a lack of resources, lack of love, lack of care, lack of acceptance, and a lot of blames and judgments. Like they tried to find and compensate it from some other sources. The way they can do it, like it's not, I don't excuse that the perpetrators are good or the perpetrators are like, should not be prosecuted. Or it's about really how we can emotionally support them so they don't try to repeat the same mistakes over and over.
Right.
How we can heal them so they will not harm anybody else.
Right. So the rest of my question is, if let's say that was my case, which it's not, I think I would have to give me a lot more resources before I could give that person resources. And with that lighten it up a bit for you to be able to give the other person resources. I understand everything you're saying. But for some people, that might be a challenge to give the perpetrator resources.
Yeah, like if you need any resource more than like at the beginning, you can do it. It's just it's really a leap of faith when you're trying to say like, oh, how I can make him stronger when I'm so vulnerable in front of him. The only really the case that you need to understand that resource is not to make stronger. The resource to give you what you need right now. If you need support, you invite support for yourself. If you want to give support to another person, to perpetrator, you give them, you can maybe give them peace, or you can give them acceptance, or maybe you can give them, you're not giving the strength. You can, the resources are different. We are looking for different emotions. We're looking for different feelings. So it's very, but yes, if you feel that you need resources, you can invite it. See, first of all, it's a great opportunity to ask yourself, what do I need? What kind of resource I need? It's not, the resource is not like, okay, so I need strength to make sure that I defend myself better. It's not necessary, will be a good resolution. If you defend yourself so much, there will be new trouble. Like you will emanate this vibration that will causing situations outside that you will have to defend yourself. But how we can give you what you need to feel happier, and at the same time don't really try to defend yourself, like the how we can shift the vibration that you are not a victim anymore, that nobody really tried to harm you, that nobody really tried to make you see you as a victim. It's really a leap of faith.
So if I want to give the other person or situation a resource and I'm not sure what that is, does that matter?
You can just draw a circle and say, like, I give you, I wish you have whatever you need right now.
Okay.
To be happier, to be healthier. We don't really, it's another person is always a mystery. For most of us, we are ourselves are mysteries. But and it's not in our decision to give or not to give them something, but it's your desire, like this is your intention, that you wish he has something else. We still be working, it's our perception of this person. And if we're changing our perception of this person without, again, it's not to excuse, but give other opportunities for yourself to heal, you need to change your perception about the situation.
Well, that's always what forgiveness is about.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking if I give the other person or situation some sort of resources that's kind of in alignment with I love you.
Yes, it's always like how is it in the Bible? It says like treat others the way you want to be treated, especially your enemies. Like if you want to be treated and if you want to be at peace, you need to at least have an intention that another person has the same resources. And of course, there are situations when we need to defend ourselves. Like we can talk about many beautiful thinking, but if there is a danger, imminent danger, we need to defend ourselves in our family. And there is no question about it. But how we can try to integrate this perspective, this reality perspective, where we don't have to, when there is everything is so peaceful in our world, when we don't have to always thinking about the defending. It's we're creating your own reality. I'm creating my own reality, and for different people, they can live in the same city, in the same house, and for each of them, reality is different. They can walk the same street, the same steps, and one of them will see that he is living in a beautiful city. Another will have horrible experiences about it. And this is your perception, how we can really accept the fact that, okay, I don't have to now live in the scary reality, that I can live in, create my own. I can be safe where I can be loved first of all by yourself. You can be anybody you want. Now you have an even more powerful tool, this Hooponopono, like 4 phrases. You wake up, say those 4 phrases, and you're already starting a day with a different attitude. You're already accepting and excited about the new day ahead, instead of like wake up depressed and say like, oh my gosh, another day, the COVID-19 still be there, it's going to hunt me down. You see how different reactions of different people on the same situation.
Mhm.
So some people really anxious and frustrated and depressed during this drama around this COVID-19. And some are different. Some of them like take it as opportunity to change their lives, to change something in their life. Like it's not necessarily need to be dramatic. We are not talking about like huge shifts. Like there is a small shifts always causing big changes. So be gentle to yourself. Like don't try to move mountains.
Mhm.
Move a little bit your perception of these mountains.
Sometimes when I'm driving down the street and I see a homeless person, I say Ho'oponopono.
Yes. And again, your intention is to create better opportunities for him and
Yeah.
better reality and community for yourself. Like whatever we do for others, we always have this reasons that we still taking care of ourselves. Like there is all this it's not about egoistic, it's about really how I care and take responsibility for my life.
Mhm.
I'm changing my life and the world is getting better. You will have, when you are happier, you want to make everybody happier. You want to live in a community of happy people. When you are stressed and depressed and like, oh my gosh, and if everybody's happy around, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with those people? Why do they smile all the time? Like this is a really if you have this attitude, there will be no good out of it until you change the attitude. This is actually why I really started to teach Neurographica. Like I seen how it's really changed my life, how it's easy, visual, very gentle, and still be very powerful, and how fast it can work. Like really within, sometimes within hours, changing something that is I would never expect other way. And then I say like, okay, when the COVID happens, I started just trying to support friends of mine. So I created those classes. And when we had see the results from those friends of mine, I started expanding it to the YouTube. So it's more people can be happier and calmer and don't get so stressed out. And it's not, I'm not trying to save everybody, but I want to give the instruments. There is an instrument that you can take and use it. It's your decision if you want. Nobody is going to force you, but it's available. At least people need to know that it's available for them. And this is really was my first intention about all this working. It's one of this about the perpetrators. It's interesting how one of my I was a victim of very dramatic situations, used to be, considered myself as a victim several times. And as my personal healing journey was releasing this stress and take responsibility, and at some point really be grateful for those experiences and for those lessons, because they really made me stronger and smart, wiser, not smarter, but wiser. The next step was how I can help people who don't have enough resources and become perpetrators. After I considered this, that it's that I want to help to potential perpetrators, that's really to heal them, to give them resources and support. Within a week, I had invitation to teach Neurographica in correction center.
Nice.
Within a week, without me doing anything. So this is was a very clear message for me that it's important, and it's not because I want to be a saver, but I want to live in safe community. I want my children be safe on streets. So the only way we can be safe if everybody has what they need. And it's maybe utopia right now, but we have to start from some point. And I'm not really in a position to save everybody. And sometimes it's even if I was teaching, I cannot be guaranteeing that, oh, I changed people's lives. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I haven't changed anything. It's possibility and it's okay. But I changed my attitude about people I met there, and I changed my understanding about them, and understanding that it's not as easy as I thought. Like the changing and giving resources, it requires so much work and so much patience and so much dedication, and it's like really requires time, and it's requires significant change in the maybe in the whole system. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with the system to even give any suggestions. It's not. I'm not in that position, and I see how people who are working there really doing amazing job. They really care about those children, so they really trying to as much as they can in that environment and it's in the system in general. So it's was a very big experience for me. I believed that I was going there to help other people. It's actually I was keep healing myself every time I go anywhere. Every class I teach, I heal myself. Everybody else I work with, I still healing myself. And it's lifetime journey. And I'm like, okay, what else do you teach me? That's why I'm like, ask questions. I learn from your questions. Because when you ask questions, I ask those questions myself and like find something new about this method, about myself, about other people, about different way of thinking. I'm like, so usually I'm so amazed with just, wow, I've never seen this opportunity, even look at the situation from this side.
Mm-hmm.
We are so have a like tunnel vision in our perception that it's very hard to step in somebody's shoes and see differently. Okay, and we keep repeating, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So if you want to, as we already discussed, if you want to bring any resources for yourself, please do so. You can do it as big as you need, as big as you want. There is no limitations. We are creating your own reality. You have your magic wand, and you just be generous to yourself. See, how does it even feel like when I am generous to myself? Like, is it okay to be generous, or is it? Okay, so I will be generous to myself. And now we'll give this resource. It will be like, those resources are just so huge, they're going beyond the paper, because really size of the paper doesn't matter, because we just can expand it if we want. We can glue it to a bigger piece of paper or attach additional paper. Okay. Somebody start mowing a lawn in my neighborhood. And we kept repeating this. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And it's interesting. Sometimes we think that life is so unfair, that some people has everything and some people have nothing. It's and we are not just talking about this money-wise, like be rich and be happy are completely different stories, and it's, usually they are not complement each other. But how some people has such health and such beauty and all those talents, when other people seems like has nothing. Usually, like I believe that each person has a different set of goals and different resources to reach those goals. And if they have some challenges in, let's say, physical body, maybe they exceeding some of their talents, exceeding and compensating these challenges that they have. It's I had a cousin. she was paralyzed, and it's really did not stop her from actively participating in the community. She was so active, she was so she knew all friends, my sister's friends. Like, she was a hub of this interaction. Like, she was open to meet with everybody and can keep connected and keep interested and involved in all those different relationships without able to walk. And at some point she said, like, you know, if I would be actively running around like I'm continuing to find new relationships, it would be a disaster. I'm still be able to like be safe and still be connected, because it's just developed a different skill. It's developed your creativity, it's developed your relationships with many people around, like not around the world, but around Russia. Like, she had friends from different cities in Russia, and it was a very inspiring how you can see the world, life differently, and challenges differently. That some challenges are really blessings. That's why we say thank you to them. That's why we really apologize, because we don't really see the goodness right away. It takes so much time, and it requires wisdom. We need to grow to see these challenges as a goodness. And some big challenges requires more openings and more experiences, more understanding who you are and what is your purpose in life. What I don't really like the phrase about purpose in life, because life is the purpose itself. The process of life is a purpose in life. Yeah, it's a big topic today. And I'm surprised. I'm not very emotional about, I'm like very grateful. I feel heart opening, and I feel so much love and gratitude, but there is no huge emotions. Like, I felt like, oh my, okay. So when I take my mom as a relationship with my mom, it could be challenging, and it's really not so much. Not anymore, let's say.
I feel like I've released a lot of angst too.
Those simple phrases really has a very unique powers, like very unique, and we don't underestimate them. Like, they can transform a lot. Okay, so we have, I finished my lines, and now we start coloring which colors we want to invite in this relationship, in this process of healing. So colors usually represent some emotions. See which emotions are coming. And don't try to like analyze and like make sure that picture will look good. Try to see which color wants to be on this picture. Try to be attuned to yourself and see like, okay, trust yourself. If you want to express green or yellow or blue or red or dark, like you can express black ones. And if there is still be so much black inside of you, like there is a very powerful and very beautiful drawings that are very dark. I'm one of those intense Neurographica instructors who has a very like many quite dark drawings, very intense ones. I had to work very hard on my inner intensity to make sure that I release this pressure. Because colors and neurographic is just representing what is inside of us. I prefer, like, it's my personal preferences. It's not a requirement for anybody. I prefer to do these waves of energies and of emotions. That emotions are freely to move through my drawings. See what do you want to do. Like, see which segments you want to color. So there's no need to copy anything. You can see really, try to be attuned to yourself and see where does it go? What does it want to be expressed on your drawing? Okay, so much noise on my outside. Everybody is expecting rain today after 2 p.m., which 30 minutes after. So everybody is mowing lawns to make sure that it's done before the rain. So you can color everything like 100%. You can blend colors, or you can leave white areas to. It really doesn't. There is no direct perfect solution. Whatever your soul is wants to do, try to follow this desire, this wish, and try to make sure that it's comfortable for you, that it's the drawing is really representing your what is going on, what is happened right now. It's maybe complete. I hope your reactions to the situation is different now from what we've started with. So it's maybe started with a very intense and painful experience. But if there is any shifts and you feel like it should be light, express the light. If you still see the intensity and darkness in this situation, express the darkness. Let this color represent what is going on inside of you. Because if you will try to imitate beauty and lightness, you will never really reach the lightness. You will never reach this satisfaction from your drawing, because it will not be what you have feeling inside. And especially it's very challenging for professional artists for some reason. They know already how to achieve this good looking pictures. And I want you to encourage, let go this perception that pictures should look good. Pictures should satisfy your inner emotional state. Like it should express you. It should be representation of what is going on inside of you without any words. And if it's a light, perfect. If it's a dark, it's okay too. Okay. If you want to blend colors, you're welcome. Do some blending, do some mix different shades of the same color or completely different shades. It could be very beautiful, very unique. It may represent a specific aspect of your personality. So post your drawings in the Neurographica group. It will be an opportunity to be connected, emotionally connected to other people without saying anything. Like you don't have to explain which subject you worked on unless you want to. You can just place your drawing and still feel emotionally accepted. So this is I want to tell you a fun fact about my mom, that she went to college when and got pregnant with me, got married, got pregnant. So she finished the college, but never had the really opportunity to love higher education. So she had, she worked as a teacher for many, many years. She's still working as a teacher. And last year, actually 3 years ago, she decided to go for higher education for the master's degree. And at her 65, she graduated with a master's degree. And she had, it was a blessing to finish higher education at such age. And she finally enjoyed to be in university. Like it's there is no age limitations for learning something new. It's really interesting. So she's a very smart woman. So that's why there is so much yellow here.
I went back to school for my social work degree at 59.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm like really highly encourage everyone who wants to learn something. There is no limitation. There is a, unless you want excuses. So everything is possible. Everything is available. Maybe it's not so easy, but it's there's still be opportunity to grow, to learn. Yeah, she graduated with a GPO 4.0. Outstanding diploma.
I did the same, but I worked my butt off to do it.
Because different goals already. I know that for youngsters, we want to go to like. Look at me. I consider myself youngster. So for example, for my son, they need just a grad degree. They don't really value each information, like all this information that they receive. For people who going to learn, they later, they already have the value, like they already know. When I was receiving this instructor level in the institute, it requires so much work, and it's there still be pleasure from every lesson, from each class that I was taking, because it's a different attitude about education. It's a different joy to learn something new and be able to understand it on different level. Like you're already using your experience, life experience, to give the value of everything. It's automatically it becomes not just information, but it's becomes knowledge. The knowledge, it's information that you're passing through you and see what is makes sense to you, what it doesn't. Yeah, so much yellow. I used to love yellow, like many of my drawings has a yellow color, especially at the beginning. Yellow is usually representing intellect or higher consciousness. You see, I have so many small pencils that, like yellow pencils that already almost gone. This is how much yellow I used. And I keep using them. So this is my yellow collection. I have longer, of course, but I try to finish them. Like they're really my baby pencils. Like I have extenders to use those.
I have extenders, but I don't really like to use them.
It's really look at your the way you what colors do you wear? Do you which pencils do you use most of the time? So, and what kind of associations you have with those colors? Which one is dominant in yours? There's always a message. People always dress up in their. There is nothing random wearing, there is always a purpose. Like if it's this thing, if this item end up in your closet, there is a reason and there is a message in this item. So look at it, see. Especially if you wear any t-shirts with the messages, oh, they are like usually very clear messages what you need to pay attention to. So it's okay, some turquoise color. Some of those colors interpretations I really like to use from the Orosoma, and they have interesting information. So if you want to, I'm not a certified or in practitioner of Orosoma. I have some products, I use some products of them, but it's I love their interpretation of colors, and I look and it's really working for myself. So I need to learn a little bit more. So
Are you talking about the people that do the aura photographs?
yes, about different plants. They do the Orosoma is a method that they create fragrances. They made pictures of different plants and they group those fragrances based on the same color of aura. Like they collecting this plants, for example, they can collect all these plants that have a blue aura or pink aura or different colors, and based on this integrated fragrances, you can heal some of your aura issues, let's say, or achieve some goals that need to be. But again, look if there is any practitioners in your area. It could be interesting for just to experience if you want something. I'm very sensitive to this stuff, so I see that there is something very important in this message in the way they deliver products. But I have no connections to them, so I don't really promote them. So it's just I use their information about colors sometimes to see if it's working for me or not. For example, turquoise color, their interpretation is that it represents creativity.
Huh.
And I really love this color, and it's really gives me a lot of, I resonate a lot with this color. So, and creativity makes sense to me when I associate this color with this. With it. So if you want to color specific circle or the specific circle that represent you or any phrases or any resources, please do so. So there is no really any limitations. You can do it anytime. Like you can highlight whatever is important for you when you're drawing. And you can just color separate circles, and it will be okay too. Or just separate segment, not separate, but like a group of segments could be colored as well. So you can add more colors as we go. You can come back to your drawing later and add even more if you decide later. So it's there is no limitations about it. And see what you want to highlight, which color you want to really make sure that you want to. So much yellow. Green, this yellow. Okay, so see how's your body is resonating. How do you feel? What do you feel? Are there any sensations in your body? It's always, we always pay attention to body, emotions, and to your, what you are thinking about right now, what insights you have. Or maybe you don't think anything right now. It's very important to calm down sometimes and stop this monkey business in your head. Okay, let's me. I want to highlight this beautiful feminine circle that represents I love you. And we still need to do field lines to make sure that we are part of a bigger energies, bigger purposes, bigger plans that we are belonging to this, not just belonging, that the energies, bigger energies are going through us, that they are part of us. We're just activating and align them along with everything else. We are not just, the universe is not just separate entity, that we are part of the universe. and universe is part of us. So field lines, we create 2 or 3 thicker lines. You can create them like the same color. Oh, this doesn't really work. Or you can create more bolder line. And field lines can follow the lines that already existing on your drawing, or they can create their own. So sometimes the universe doesn't like what we're doing at this moment, and they try to align us with different paths, different journeys, the different way. So try to see where does it line is really guiding you. What does it try to tell you? They can divide, they can merge, they can cross each other. So, and after we have 2 or 3 of such lines, you can draw more. You just make sure that it's not overwhelming, and it needs to be integrated. So we round each corner that those beautiful lines created. And there's so many questions about those lines, like how I don't like them. They're so bold. They really ruin my drawing. So it's one of the biggest resources you can invite in your life to see a bigger purpose, bigger intentions. And if you can integrate them well, they will give you drawing, because it's a different thickness, different boldness. It gives your drawing some 3D effect. It gives you perspective that some of those lines are closer to you, some of them are far away. So there is different feelings about different lines. And they give you sense of direction. So it's really create this tunnel that you can, emotional tunnel that you can be swimming and still feel that there is some support and some goal. It's like in a swimming pool when we have these dividers between these lines. Wherever you're tired, you can rely on them and rest a little bit and keep swimming. And you know that you're heading forward because they always give you these directions. And be still repeating just 4 phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. See, like when we start integrating these lines, they look already not foreign. They look like belonging to this drawing, like they meant to be. There is a and everything still be bold and beautiful. Okay, how do you feel at the end of this class? Like, how do you feel? What has changed in you? What has shifted? Do you have any progress in your?
I feel more at, more at peace. I feel like everything is much better, that I can handle everything now.
Mm-hmm. In your discovery about yourself during this drawing, did you learn something about yourself?
I have to think about that more. I have to contemplate it.
And so we've done field lines. Make sure that you, whichever element you want to highlight, you really see it. You really want to remember this very important message. Let's see if I want to make it different colors, maybe. Okay, let's see if I can do. Not much. It really doesn't make much difference on this. For some reason, I want it even bolder. And here is this black cherry color. Just to make it a little bit more stand out. So just yesterday I was watching one class, and again it was repeated that the mandala or mandala, everybody says differently. It's a meaning in a circle. So we constantly drawing those meanings, big meanings in our Neurographica. So And all these different meanings are connected between themselves, like it's creating this beautiful universe of beautiful meanings, beautiful reality. Yeah, I think it's bold enough. So I highlighted the phrase "I love you," and I really like the size. It's big, but not huge, not overwhelming huge. So for me, personally, I learned that how big is my mom in my life. Like I knew that it's big, but like to see it, how proportionally big and how cool she is. Like really, I'm like the best mom I could ever have. Yeah. And another thing that was really pleasant for me that to know that I can, that it's beautifully, I feel beautifully connected, but there is no drama between us. There is no emotional, that I don't have to cry every time I'm working with her, that I don't really have to be overwhelmed by this relationship, which was usually the case in last what for 40 plus years, and that finally it's finally I can relax in this relationship and still be very and really not still be, but finally I can relax and enjoy the connection, enjoy the relationship. So this is my outcome, this my realizations during this drawing, and just another confirmation how different are my parents and how different are relationship between each of them and me. Like that, it's a different relationship, me as a daughter of my father and as a daughter of my mom. And as a parents, they represent together, so it's a different level of a relationship.
Do they live in the United States?
No, they live in my hometown, or in my birth house or birth town. It's a small city in Russia. Not small city, it's considered average city, 500,000 people population. And the name is Tomsk, and it's over 400 years old. More, it's older than United States, for sure. Very beautiful city. Love to visit it. Okay, I feel satisfied. Even there is so much yellow here. Okay, we can be very connected on this mental level as well with her. Integrated. Look at us. Only 2 hours and we're already done. I'm done. Usually it takes me like 3 hours to guide, to lead the class, and I can deliver the message faster now.
There you go.
So, do we have any questions?
No, I just want to say that I really, really like this process.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do have a question.
Okay.
When I'm going to do this Hooponopono process, Should I do a release of constraints beforehand?
So if you want, you can do it. You can, if you've done the catharsis before you like before we started drawing, you say that you cannot connect these two items, and you did the catharsis on site.
Yes.
You can continue to finish the catharsis because there is some emotional relationship that is could be processed there. Or if you feel already released, it can be enough. Just do the catharsis. I usually finish all roundings, at least roundings. I would suggest just round all those corners that I have, like I did the catharsis as an example, so you can just round those corners that are represented on your drawing, on your catharsis. But it's, and if you want to do another drawing about the same subject, you can start right away without any catharsis. Catharsis was an exception. We really don't use much catharsis in this Hooponopono method because it's already quite organic, but sometimes painful situations can cause some extra care, like not cause, but they need some extra care and some extra options. So this was just to make sure that you're comfortable to start. When we work on big relationship and very painful situations, I highly recommend to start and do first drawing as a release of inner constraints, or like on my video, it says lifting inner constraints.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives you some inner pressure, all this build up emotions around it to be released. And when you have this peace already, some peace with this, you can start using different modalities on top of it. Like when you, I compare it like when you try to plant anything in the garden, you have to pull weeds and start digging before you can plant anything. So the catharsis is a really heavy duty tool to pull those weeds and make sure that the soil will accept seeds and will be comfortable to grow anything, because it could be dramatic when you start working on painful experience just at the beginning. It's just be gentle to yourself.
Yeah. So even though I didn't want to connect the circles in the beginning, and I said, well, I'm just going to do it for the sake of the process, I think it was okay after I did that. There was resistance beforehand, but when I decided I'm just going to go with it and see what happens, then that released, I think that released a lot of the resistance. I was okay with it after that. Her circle was much bigger than my circle was too. And I think because I see her as a bigger energy, I don't know how else to presence, a bigger presence.
So as one of the options at the end of your drawing, you may look at your drawing and see, do you have a desire to be bigger on this, in this relationship?
Yeah.
Do you want to increase your circle, your own circle, or not? Or you still be comfortable about the size now?
I think that I'd like to make it bigger, like about the same size for equality.
Okay, so I give you permission. You can be bigger. So it's interesting, but not. Thank you for actually grateful question, because it's many people can benefit from it. We're very we have such a perception to see ourselves in certain way that invitation, would you like to be bigger?
Yeah.
Looks like, wow, I never knew there is an option. And sometimes when you're overwhelmed by your size, like, oh my gosh, I'm so big, there is so much going on, maybe it's a time to be smaller as well. So there is always opportunities to adjust what is the size you can be comfortable with, because each size requires different energies and different, you have to fill this space with so much things, like with emotions, with thoughts, with energies, with actions, with people. But if you don't want, if you don't feel comfortable, you can step aside and say like, okay, maybe it's time to be a little bit smaller. And who knows, maybe in a year you will be big enough or even bigger. Like it's you can adjust it as much as you want.
And I was okay with it being big at first, but now that you brought to my perception that it's okay to make it the same size, I want to make it the same size. So just make another big circle around my circle.
Yes, just make sure that you round all the corners that it will create.
Okay.
Because it's when we get bigger, we create, like we're stepping outside of our own perception, and we creating some conflict that, okay, so now I can do this and that, and like I can own this, so much space. It's really we need to harmonize all those possible corners.
Well, and I want to make the love bigger. The love circle was inside the forgiveness circle. Neither of them are as big as me even. So I want to expand. If I have the love circle inside of the forgiveness circle, I want to make the love circle bigger.
May. And see if is it stagnated in the forgiveness?
What do you mean by that?
Like it's a really the forgive, please forgive me circle is surrounds the love, completely surrounds love.
This is the love circle.
Yes, yeah. So it's really doesn't go outside. So it's my interpretation. Again, I'm just giving you interpretation. See if it resonates with you. That we sometimes apologize for something or expect apologies that we really don't recognize that there is a love there. So if you make love bigger, the apology may be not dominant and not needed so much.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, she did not apologize. Like I need to hear certain words to forgive her. And sometimes it's those words just spinning in our head, and they substitute that you really need to hear that I love you, instead of like, please forgive me. Like that, it's we please forgive me is such a cliche, and we like, as Americans and Canadians, we say like, oh, I'm sorry, forgive us so often. Like it's really the meaning. We don't really slow down and give the whole meaning to those words. So they become very familiar, like formality. So the word I was looking for. But if we say once and really mean, once is enough. We can say 100 times and without meaning, and there is no change. And one time when you really feel it, and it will be, even if it's not enough for another person, it will be enough for you. and you stop apologizing constantly and like feel sorry, and the situation will be resolved somehow. But if you will continue feel like, okay, no, not enough, not enough, it will be like really escalating at some point. So yeah.
I just made my circle. It looks like it's about the same size and it does feel better.
Good.
Yeah.
So see when you made yourself bigger, which energies, which colors you included. Maybe something that hasn't been there, you really start owning.
No, it's all the same colors, but being the same size makes me feel like there's an equal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's important to be equal.
Yes. Thank you.
So you're welcome. So Liesl, how are you? I've seen your internet is behaving again.
We had the internet fine, so that's progress. But our dog came in and she stepped on the power cord with her big fluffy paw, and I went down. I had to boot up again.
Yeah, it requires some attention from you. So welcome back. So
it's because life keeps going on, and I can do this while life is happening around me.
yes, it's always there is a distraction around us, and it's interesting. This morning we had a group of healers that I every Wednesday I work with. I lead the group, it's my students, and there's so much distractions around. Like people in my house start like walking through the room when I was like trying to meditate and do the session and guide the session like for other people, and helicopters start around like making noise around. It's like, this is like, where do you live? What is the war zone there? like no, we calm down and we keep focusing on what we want to achieve. Like we want to get together, and this is the most important. So it was interesting how it's so much distractions can be on around us.
Yes. Life. It's just if we collapse to them, or we just keep rolling with intention.
Life's still going. Yeah, it keep rolling, keep swimming. It's okay. It's okay. There is never like if we are going to wait for the perfect time when everybody will be perfect around us and behave the way we expect, the moment will never start.
Right.
And if we can just do in any conditions, just do what we want, we may really cherish and notice that some of those moments are really precious, and there is sometimes everything is still and quiet around you and you can enjoy it in fully. And
Exactly.
it's really about finding this piece. I was one of the phrases that I really like, that you can complain that roses have thorns,
Mhm.
or you can be excited and inspired that thorns can have roses. It's really how we can look at the same situation from different angles and be happy about it.
Well said. There's also that funny quip about, dear optimists and pessimists, while you were arguing whether the glass was half full or half empty, I came and drank all the milk.
Really? So
It's onward and upward, no matter what.
You
So,
can
yes.
just use it. Use what you have, and this is the most important. Okay, ladies, do we want to continue, or I can leave you in your processes?
You can leave me in my process so that you can have a little time to yourself.
I'm going to make another video with announcement, and Lisa, I will send you a link about the announcement that you joined us a little bit later, so you missed it. That we are starting. You're welcome as well. Like, we are starting a challenge. Challenge is such a word that I don't like to use in this context. Like, if we want to change some very significant topic, like very big topic in like health, relationship, finances, self-image, or inner freedom, whatever you want, like, or relationship with your work, I invite to do very small drawings every day. The size could be very small, like sticky notes, very small, or you can use cards, like postcards or bookmarks, like this, like it's really, size doesn't matter in this case. And you just like slowly for 21 days will work constantly, small steps, like you will use your teaspoon to empty this dirty water from your soul, from those outdated patterns that you keep repeating. So there will be very gentle and very effective. And I know it's because I did it for myself already, and it was a very beautiful experience. Yesterday I realized how effective it was without me really even keeping this intention. Okay, so I'm so excited about it. So that's why I'm repeating it already, like third time. Ro is listening it already several times today.
It's all good.
So thanks a lot for joining. Thank you for everyone who is watching us on live stream, and for everybody who is going to watch us on YouTube. I'm grateful for your interest. Please join our group, please join our courses, and thanks a lot. It's a beautiful time to live, for sure, with all this drama and excitement in quite a cocktail to drink. So have a great day.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. And see you next Wednesday or next Friday for another class. Next Friday, there will be no class for live stream. There will be different class, but because my son is going to perform, so I have to be there for him.
That's right.
So it will be my short break.
Thank you.
Thank you, and bye.